Now that we've learned how to create a magic ring, I'm going to teach you how to increase, which is one of the most fundamental skills that you'll need when creating an amigurumi project. In order to make the project the right size and shape, you are going to need to know how to increase and decrease in your stitches in order to get the right number of stitches per row. So first, I'm going to teach you how to increase. So with this little tail, for now, we're going to forget about it and just drop it down to the side so that it's out of your way. And we are going to work into our first single crochet just like normal, except for right now, you are not going to be chaining between rows. Because we're working in rounds, you don't need to chain because it's just all going in a continuous round and there doesn't need to be that distinction. So we are going to work into our first single crochet like normal, just creating one single crochet. So just pull through and create a single crochet like normal, and you'll see how that kind of closes your ring for you. And now, in order to increase, we are going to place a second single crochet in that same chain space. So you are going to find that same hole where your last single crochet was placed, and you're going to insert again. This can be a little bit tighter. You're going to pull up a loop and finish your single crochet like normal. Now you'll see that this is kind of clustered a little bit. You'll see that there's two single crochets where there previously would have been one. So I'll show you when you're working just one single crochet in, it appears much smaller than when you're increasing. And that's how you increase. That's literally it. You're just placing two single crochets per stitch instead of one, and that's so that you can have more stitches to work into in the next row. So we have 6 stitches here. If I were to increase in every stitch, which traditionally on the second row of an amigurumi project you might be doing, you would have 12 stitches at the end of that row. So you're just going to work all the way around, placing 2 single crochets in the same stitch space. So I'll show you one more time. You're going to do a normal single crochet, and then you're just going to look close and see where you place that single crochet, and instead of moving on to the next space like you normally would, you're just going to reach back and place another single crochet in that same space. So you'll see these are the 2 that have not been increased in yet, and they appear much larger, almost double the size as the increased stitches. So they're going to be smaller, they're going to be more compact than the non-increased stitches that you have. So just finish up going around, practicing those increases. It can be a little confusing to look at. It makes it much easier if you use a stitch marker at the beginning of your rows, and then you'll know exactly where you started and stopped increasing, and you'll be able to keep an easier stitch count that way. So I would highly recommend always using a stitch marker when you're increasing or decreasing, because otherwise it can get very confusing to keep track of how many stitches you have in your row and make sure that you're progressing like you're supposed to be with an amigurumi project, because the amount of stitches in a row really changes the shape of how a project will look. So you have to pay a lot of attention to your stitch count when you're increasing and decreasing. But that's essentially it for an increase. It's very simple, just 2 single crochets or 2 of whatever type of stitch you're doing in each stitch space instead of 1.